What's up, Agents? Zero here, and welcome to There You Go, the shortest puzzle game ever created. Or at least I like to say it's the shortest game ever created because I've actually yet to find a game off of Play Store that is shorter than this. Now, the app description says the developer only has one world in this game, and depending on how well it's received, he may consider doing some work on the game and adding more levels to it. But for right now, there's only one world to this game, and it's actually not a difficult game to understand. It just takes some figuring out is the only thing. Now, the game itself I have in fact played before, but what's interesting about this game is that every time you play it, it's randomly generated. And I guess the best way for me to describe it isn't that the game is randomly generated, because there's a number of aspects in this game. They're the same regardless of how many times you play it. However, the thing about it being randomly generated is that there are codes and stuff hidden throughout this game that are randomly generated each time you play. So even if you do watch this playthrough and you want to try the game yourself, entering the codes of which I encounter in this game are not going to do you any good. And I gotta say, it's interesting to actually play because I've not seen any games anywhere close to being like it. And I also happen to have my touches activated for this recording so that you guys can at least see what I'm tapping on. Now, one complaint that I would make about this game isn't how short it is, because the developer does have to do a bit of work to expand it, and again, he said he wants to see how well it's received before adding more, which I honestly think he should do more for it. The problem that I have for this game is that there's very few sound effects. I mean, you can tap on certain things and hear a little click, but that's it. Some background music or something might be nice, but there's nothing in that, and I've not even found any form of in-game settings whatsoever, so this is going to be somewhat quiet of a game just in general because of the lack of sounds, which, developer, if you're actually watching this right now, if you do in fact decide to add more to this game, I feel like that's probably something you should consider adding. But enough of me talking, let's go ahead and play the game itself. So, this is effectively Chapter 1. Like I said, there's only one set of levels so far, and it's played isometrically. So if I go ahead and tap on this lamp as my first action, there we go. We can now see the room of which we are in. So let's go ahead and open the door and go inside. And now we have these arrows at the bottom of the screen, which we can use to go back and forth. Oh, wait, no, not back and forth, to rotate the room. Now I can go ahead and open this door, and I can go back on through to the other side. So in order to bypass this door right here, we actually have to input a code, and this is where I said it actually starts to get randomly generated. So what you have to do, you have to move the computer chair and then tap the computer again and then turn the lamp off, and this gives us a code of 9881. Now you can also tap on the books, but that doesn't actually do you anything. So 9881 is the code we're looking for. So 9881, and the door is now open. Alright, so this is where things can be a little bit interesting, because you have to do a little bit of thinking in order to figure out exactly what's going on here. So if we go ahead and tap on this, okay, apparently that doesn't do anything. Okay, never mind. Okay, so now if we go ahead and push this button, there's some parts about this game that I actually had forgotten about. Okay, so now we have crashed through the floor of another area, and now our goal is to actually access this vent up here, which we obviously can tell is too high right now. And there's actually an easy way for us to fix that. We're actually going to have to access both the faucet and the fridge slash freezer. So if we go ahead and tap on the sink, it's going to start filling up with water, and we want to keep going on until it ends up flooding the floor. And now what we want to do from this point, we want to open the fridge and the freezer, and we got to empty out the entire fridge and freezer, and getting some of the stuff that's in here is not exactly the easiest thing to do. Because as you can tell, I'm tapping on a number of things, and it isn't working too well. It is a little bit buggy at times, but you actually have to throw this stuff onto the floor, and so that you'll be able to... Come on, gotta get this box out of here. Thank you. So let's go ahead and close this. Is that everything? Yes, it is. So now we can actually move the fridge. And if we go ahead and rotate and tap on the back of the fridge, it moves just like that. Now we can climb up to the vent, and we crawl into the vent and come out to the other side. Now, as you can see, this door with the purple handle, the black door, it says it's BOOP, and the reason why this is important is because it actually pertains to a code. Now, we came out from the vent up here. However, there are actually two places that we can go. First, we can go through this door, and this is where it's the BOOP actually comes into play. Now, you can tap on this to activate colorblind mode, which I don't know how many people out there will have a problem with that, because if you in fact are colorblind, I highly doubt you'd play video games in the first place, although I could be completely wrong on that. But there is a colorblind mode available. So if I go ahead and turn and go back out the door, this is where BOP comes into play. And just like that code on the wall to unlock the keypad door, this is another aspect to the game which is randomly generated. So what we have to do is we have to use BOP in order to change the colors that are in these tanks. So in order to do that, we have to turn these handles each time, and we're actually looking for blue, orange, and purple, which I want to say this is correct. Come on, go through the door. And it is correct because now we have locked that case. Now the next step we have to take is to go through this door, which, can you please, there we go. So now we're presented with this tree, and if we see up here, we have ourselves a clock. Now here's what happens here. You have to tap on the tree, which it's not doing anything right now, but if we go ahead and tap on the clock, it's going to change the way the tree looks. So we have to tap on all of these red squares on the tree, which if you guys hadn't guessed already, these are apples, and each time you tap on them, they do disappear, and they actually appear in the other room. So if we go back out, the apples are now actually inside this basket that's up in the wall. So if we go back through, we actually have another task that we have to go through in here. So we want to tap it again. And now you can see that the tree is pretty much dead. So now you have to keep tapping on the tree and get it as small as possible. And now we go back through the door, you can see that there's some lumber inside the room. So what we have to do is we need to tap on these pieces of lumber, and they're going to be placed up onto the wall. And what's going to happen here is that we now tap on... Did I not get all of it? There we go. And so now the apples are falling into the tube, and it pushes that pressure plate, which then opens this door, which if we go through, now we have yet another puzzle, and this one is not as easy to figure out. Because what you have to do here is you're actually creating floor, and you have to go from one side of the room to the other, and the only way to do it is by flipping these switches. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this code here is actually randomly generated as well. Now, whether or not that's actually true, I do not know. But you flip these levers and it puts down part of the floor. Now, if you have certain levers down already and you push another lever down, sometimes it'll take away the floor that's already there. So if I go and push one, as you can see, it took away a piece of the floor but put down a different piece of the floor. So let me go ahead and try to figure this out. No, that's not it. Sometimes this part of the game can be a bit tricky to figure out. But it's not too hard. I mean, it does sometimes take a couple of tries to figure out. In fact, it does take... Oh, come on. This is being annoying. I just want to complete the floor here. That's the entire goal of this puzzle. Come on. I don't know what I'm supposed to be... I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not sure what the code is supposed to be. So if I go ahead and do this... Come on. Oh, there we go. I figured it out. And so now we have ourselves a door. If we go ahead, I actually did not know about this painting. I've never looked at it before. Now, whether or not there's anything we can do with it, I don't think so. I am, in fact, tapping on it, but it's not doing anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this door. And we now have to go ahead and take these things out by shooting them. And there's 3 on each wall. So I guess the fact that we had that introductory painting kind of told us what we need to do. So now that we've destroyed all of them and their remains are pretty much everywhere on the floor, which is a bit morbid, we can go ahead and flick this lever. And we bring a platform down. And this is the end of the game. Like I said, it's not a very long game. You can actually tap on these paintings if you really want to. But it really doesn't do too much of anything. But this is in fact the end of the game. Now, like I said, this game actually does randomly generate itself on the codes. Now, the last area of which I was flipping the levers for the floor, I do believe also randomly generates the code for. I'm not 100% sure. So, like I said at the beginning, if you guys play this game for yourself, the codes are going to be different for you regardless. Now, if we go ahead and tap on this, it changes the exclamation point to a question mark and 3 dots, which kind of hints at the fact that the developer is, in fact, considering making more levels. Well, but yeah, that's actually going to do it for this video. Hope that you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Want more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zero Studios. Thank you guys for watching, and oh man, this recording actually went on a lot longer than I thought it would. Probably because I was explaining a majority of the game. I thought this video was going to be a lot shorter than it was, but whatever. With that, I will see you guys later.